You talked about, and I don't think this is too painful for you to talk about. I know your husband passed recently.
Yes.
But I want to know, is it okay to talk about?
Sure.
Because you said a couple great things.
I
One
sure
was he didn't want to go to storytelling.
He didn't. He was saying, you're always doing different stuff. You know. Yes. And what's your point? Once he got there, hooked immediately, he would say, are you going to get the kids? And this the grandchildren. You going to get the kids? We're going to take them to the storytelling. What time are we supposed to be there? When you got blankets? Or we go? Yeah, I mean, this from somebody who didn't want to go to storytelling to begin with, but it hooked him. It's like putting a fish hook in him and reeling him in. And now my grandchildren are hooked on storytelling events and storytelling, and my daughter tells them, makes stories up for them, and tells them stories. And she started it to make them kind of calm down so she could get them to go to bed, and that's with their auntie, you know. And so I think family members help introduce you to different things, you know, and different traditions. So when we got to the place where we would go to the storytelling, and I started them off at a storytelling event, which was the storytelling arts in the park for Halloween. And once they went to that once, then they would say, well, are we going back again? Well, Halloween's only this night. I mean, you know, well, are we going next year? Well, yeah, we can go next year, but then other events would happen down at the art center, at the history center, and I would ask them, did they want to go? And before I could get the words out of my mouth, they have on their little coats, are we going now? No, it's not until tomorrow. It's not tonight. But they are really, they're kind of hooked. They're advocates too. Mm-hmm. And I find that they, not only do they like going, they like for you to tell them things. And they would say, tell us again about your granddaddy. Mm-hmm. And I'd say, okay. And they ask their mother, can you tell us about what did your granddaddy used to tell you? So they like those stories, those verbal traditions, and when they go to a storytelling event, they come back and they actually relate a lot of what they've heard to their parents. It's like the fishing wire. You catch it out and roll them back, you know, and then the next thing you know, you've made a tighter circle. And even if it's not your family that you hear about, it tweaks something so that maybe you go back and do your family. I don't know, but I like hearing about other people's families too. One of the last storytelling events I went to, a woman told about her mom. Her mom didn't die until she was over 100 years old. But boy, her mother had stories. Her mother had a life. And by the time she got through, I was going, wow, that was really cool, you know. But and then it set me in the track. I need to tell my grandkids about my grandmother and the things that she had me do, and the things that I remember about being little, and the little funny, little quirky things that she would say and do. And I haven't shared some of those things with my grandkids. So now after we finish this, I can go home and do that.
I'm a foodie, so a good meal, a good restaurant, a good ethnic restaurant is one in which you feel transported to that country through the smells and through the sounds and through the sights when you enter the restaurant. So it primes you to prepare to eat the food and take in and savor what might be unusual spices or preparations of even common things. Storytelling does the same thing. You know, if it's done well, the story is so set with the background, the history, the sounds, so that
nuances, yeah.
Yes, it's nuanced, so that you sit there and you feel like you're transported to that place.
I may feel very comfortable eating a dinner of macaroni and cheese and greens and things like that on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm feeling loved and kind of relaxed at home after church and stuff. Somebody else has the same experience, maybe not with that same food. Maybe theirs is grilled cheese and a tomato soup in front of the fireplace with their mom and dad or whatever. But it's that human experience that you describe how you care about a particular thing or a family or a feeling that you get. And those are not, they might be colorful to talk about, but they are not rooted in color. You don't have to be an African American to know that family and home is comforting and important to you. And sometimes people haven't had that experience, and when they hear a story about it, then vicariously they've had that experience. And that's something they like. Maybe they want to put that in their own lives somehow.